Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So it hasn't rained for us for about 4 weeks now. We haven't had a proper good rain. We've had a little bit of snow and a little bit of drizzle, but nothing seriously to wet the ground properly. So for us gardeners, it's causing us a real concern right now. We're in the middle of probably the driest April since records began in the UK. And the other thing is that it's really sunny and really pleasant days during the day. So if you're not a gardener and if you're not worried about growing things, it's a really good time because it's nice and warm during the day. And it's not so bad, well, it's a little bit cold at night. So you don't need to, if you're not a gardener, you don't need to worry about it too much. But for us gardeners, it's a real concern because we've got young seedlings that we're trying to plant out. How do we get those planted out and established without the rain? So that's what the topic of this video is going to be about, is how can we conserve water and make use of the water that we've got the best we can. So one of the most important things when it comes to water conservation and lasting through a drought like this is, when we've got prolonged periods of no rain, is not to lose the water that we've already got in our soils. So if you come down here, I'll show you what I've got already. Okay, so this bed is mulched with broken down wood chips and a bit of compost. But you can see as soon as I start going down a bit, the soil's moist, so that doesn't really need watering. So these plants with my garlic and stuff, it doesn't really need water adding to it. So all I need to do is preserve the water that's already in that soil and not allow it to be lost. Now when I'm looking at that, the top layer of mulch is looking quite thin and it's starting to dry. So this is why I've been cutting my grass today. I'm going to take my grass clippings and I'm going to mulch around the base of these garlic plants, and that will stop. See, there's even bits of cardboard in here. You've seen my lawnmower and cardboard chopping up trick, so there's even bits of cardboard in there. So now I'm just going to add lots and lots of grass clippings and any little weed seeds that come up, that are coming up at the same time. I'm just going to pull them out and use them as additional mulch. So here are a few sycamore seeds. So look, the first thing in saving water is not allowing your water to be lost in the first place. There we go. Now this bed is mulched with a combination of cardboard and wood chips. So if I just scrape down a little bit into here, I've got really damp soil. But I don't want to lose that. So what I might do with this is, if I can get hold of some cardboard, because I'm not going to be planting in here for a while, I'm going to just get some cardboard and cover the bed with cardboard. That'll protect from any moisture loss. Now the absolute best thing that you can do is get planting into it. And that's what we've been doing down here, is we've been getting our onions planted. So we've got young onion seedlings. When you've got young seedlings like this, they're going to need to be protected and they're going to need to be watered so they don't lose their moisture. Now we've got a couple of options. So you can go for the water in your water butts. And this water butt has gathered, I've got a couple of water butts down here and they've picked up water during the winter, but they're starting to run low. I use these to water the things that are close by to the water butts, but they're starting to run low, and very soon, if we don't get a rain, they'll be empty. So now what do? We need some water from somewhere. And the other option that most people will go for is the hose pipe and start using fresh drinking water to water the plants. Now I think there's a better option than that. Before you go for that option of using the hose pipe, if you can, then try this. So every day we're washing our dishes, where we're having showers, we're taking baths, there's loads and loads of valuable water that's just been flushed down the sink, and we can use this water to water our plants and water our garden. And you don't need a really sophisticated fancy system. You don't need a fancy recycling system. This is my grey water recycling system. It's just a few buckets on my back doorstep. So right outside my kitchen doorstep, we just have a few buckets. We use a washing up bowl, collect all the water that we're washing our dishes with. Anytime we wash our hands, that's where we're washing it. That water just gets poured into these buckets, and then it comes in with me to start building my muscles. And now I've got 2 buckets, I'm off down the garden. So now if you wanted to, you've just seen me cut my lawn. If you need a nice lush lawn, just pour this on your lawn and you've got your water for your lawn. Your lawn doesn't have to take copious amounts of fresh drinking water and be the reason that a lot of permies try and say that lawns are not permaculture and it's a bad thing for the environment. It doesn't have to be. You can use it to recycle all this waste water. But right now, this water is going to be used to water my seedlings in. So we're in my greenhouse now, and again, this is what I'm talking about, is in terms of mulch. I've taken my leaf mold bed down, and I've just spread most of it out on top of here. And that's going to be conserving water in the beds. And it means that I'm not having to constantly water in here. I mean, the water butts that have helped us keep things going in here. We've got these beautiful lettuces that have been growing. I mean, I harvested a couple yesterday, but what we generally do is pick some of the just pick them as loose leaves and take them as and when we need them, because they're quite big. We're not going to finish one in a full day. There's no point taking them all off in one go. We've got radishes. These are radishes that I sowed in January, and these are ready to be picked now. So I'm going to pull a couple of these. So look at this. Oh, it's forked a little bit, but we've got some nice radishes there. Some really nice radishes there. Let's get this one as well. Oh, that's a lovely one. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. And these are a variety called Lungo Rosso. And I'm going to keep picking a couple more of these because my mum wants to cook these. So there we go. So I'll leave a couple, but we'll what we'll do with these is we'll cook these, and we'll cook the leaves as well, and the whole thing will be going into a stir fry or something like that. I've still got pak choi over here going really strong, so it's all been watered with either grey water or it's been watered with water from my water butts. So we're not wasting copious amounts of water from drinking reserves. So the bigger plants, you don't need to worry about them so much in terms of water, because they've got their roots down and they can access some of the water a little bit deeper down. But it's these smaller seedlings. Here I've got a few beetroot that are going to need a bit of water just to get them through and get them established. There's a cornflower there, some more onions here. Watering by hand like this, it's a bit more time consuming, but it means you can be a lot more accurate with your water. You're not wasting it, especially when you're with a hose pipe. I think overhead watering and watering with a hose pipe is one of the most inefficient ways of watering you can do, because you're wasting so much water watering things that just don't need it. Now, I'm going to just take off this cloche that I made, this little mini greenhouse that I made. You can see the way I've done this in one of my recent videos. But under here, I've got lettuces. So all I'm going to do is just give each one a little bit of water. And if I was going to use a hose pipe to water these, the amount of water I've already used, see, I can get all of these plants watered with a jug of water, and I can guarantee that if I was going to use a hose pipe, I'll have sprayed way more than that already. And this water, because of the way I'm watering as well, I'm watering direct at the roots, is going straight down into the soil. It's not just staying on the surface. So these are all little tips that you can use, and use them to conserve your water and make sure that you're not wasting these valuable resources. Because when you haven't got them, that's when you realise how valuable they actually are. We very rarely experience a drought in this country. Well, a serious one anyway. So if this lasts so much longer, it will be quite serious for us, because it's a time when we really need the water to get our young plants going. So use your grey water, use things like mulch, use even that little greenhouse, that's going to stop evaporation happening from here. I mean, it might sound counterintuitive that I'm putting something that's going to heat the soil up, but it's going to conserve moisture, because what's going to happen is it's going to condense. When it gets to the sides, it's going to condense and it's going to fall back down to the earth, and you'll see a drip line every morning. You'll see a drip line just after it's condensed. You'll see that the water's dripping back down, and it's a way of it's actually a way that's used in some deserts of catching water. You know, it's a water catchment resource, and a little bit more sophisticated than that, but it can be used like that. But anyway, these are all little tips that you can use to conserve water and make your valuable resource go that much further. So I'll leave it there for this one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.